Welcome to our show,
Sleepover Cinema,
where we analyze the films that created the collective unconscious of the girls, gays, and theys of the late 90s and early 2000s. I'm Hannah Leach.
And I'm Audrey Leach. We are the sister filmmaking duo, also known as Two Pink Pictures, and we haven't stopped thinking about these movies since we first saw them.
We're going to explore the good, the bad, and the nonsensical of the very often made-for-TV movies that first inspired our love for film in an attempt to answer the question, are these movies actually good? And at the end of the day, do we really care if they are?
Today we are talking about 2000's Life Size.
Wait a minute. You can't be.
I'm Eve, and you're my special friend.
So here we are. I'm excited to do this one this week. I have not seen this movie in a really long time. So how are you feeling about it?
Well, you know, Tyra has evolved in interesting ways over the years, but when we first saw this movie and when it first came out, I feel like she was very much a goddess to us and to just everybody that knew her. You know?
Yes.
None of her really like zany qualities had come out yet.
Well, she was still a supermodel and not the host of America's Next Top Model yet.
Exactly.
So that's important to know, and I'm sure we'll probably get into that later.
Yep.
Today's episode is going to be a little bit different because normally I compile the facts and read through them, but today we are going to pull a little switcheroo because Audrey did the research and she is going to guide the
Carfax.
The Carfax. She's going to give us the Carfax.
Okay. So Life Size premiered March 5th, 2000 on ABC in the Wonderful World of Disney series, which I thought was interesting because we know that the Whitney Houston version of Cinderella was also produced under the Wonderful World of Disney on ABC.
They were churning out some stuff.
Yeah, they were onto something here.
They were onto something.
I don't know. I'm like proud of them for this string of films.
Let's not forget about Annie too, because that was just in '99, and those three movies alone are enough to shape a generation. So
yeah. It was directed by Mark Rosman, who also directed The Perfect Man, which stars Hilary Duff, which keeps coming up over and over and over again. I have actually seen it, but it's very vague in my mind. It wasn't one of the ones that we watched a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever saw it.
Yeah. He also directed A Cinderella Story, which we also covered.
Yes.
And several Lizzie McGuire episodes and several Even Stevens episodes. So a lot of Hilary Duff in his career.
But he did all that after he did this movie.
Yep. Yeah.
Got it.
That was all.
So this movie got him on the path towards all that.
Right. It's funny, though, because apparently they feuded, you know. Lindsay and Hill.
But I don't think Hill was even doing anything in 2000. Or when did Lizzie McGuire start?
I don't know, but she would be roughly on the scene in 2000, maybe a little bit too young, but yeah. So Life Size was written by Mark Rosman and Stephanie Moore, and Steph, I'm gonna call her Steph, has only written Life Size and Life Size 2. Those are her only credits, like, ever.
Did she write a book?
No, this is not based on a book.
Okay.
However, this movie was her idea, the idea of a doll coming to life and whatever this, you know, obviously other things have that idea too. But she had the idea, brought it to Mark Rosman, and then they wrote a screenplay together.
Excuse me. She said, doll comes to life. That's it.
That's it. And he was
Mom's
like,
dead. Why not?
He was like, they fall in love.
Who is Stephanie Moore? Like, as a person? Do we know?
No.
Okay.
There's so little available about her. Yeah.
I'm sure we could have found her, like, Squarespace website or something if we looked, but I never do that.
So, sadly, there is no critic score for this made-for-TV movie because it was made for TV. And the audience score is 48%.
That's because it's got to be all haters.
Yeah, really sad because there's a great original song in this movie, and I feel that alone should give it at least 60%.
Yes, I agree.
Creativity.
I agree.
Okay?
I agree.
All right, so plot synopsis. There's a short version and a long version.
Can I read these? Because I still want to make you read the tagline because
Sure.
that's our tradition. Okay, so the shorter plot synopsis reads, a widower's daughter accidentally brings her doll to life while trying to cast a spell to resurrect her mother. That is such a badly written sentence.
And then, but the longer one is like literally the entire plot. So it's kind of like.
So should I not read it?
No, you can read it.
Oh, I see. Okay. 11-year-old Kate. Okay, so this is the longer version. 11-year-old Casey is despondent after her mother's death. As she and her father Ben drift apart, she finds a book of magic spells and tries to use one to bring her mother back to life. But the plan backfires, and she finds that she's animated Eve, a fashion plate dress-up doll. Eve is excited to be both alive and nearly 6 feet tall, but she has much to learn about living in the real world, and Casey doesn't think she has the desire or the patience to teach her. Audrey, what is the tagline?
The tagline is, she was a perfect doll. Now she's the real thing.
That literally sounds like at the beginning of a Gaga song.
Yeah.
That's like she would speak those lines or something. You know what this
She
movie...
was a perfect doll. Now she's the real thing.
Yes, that was good. You know what this movie just is?
What?
Enchanted.
Yeah.
The primary gag is Enchanted, basically. Mm-hmm. Enchanted's also a great movie, though.
That's true.
Except in Enchanted, it's like weirdly up to the little girl's dad to train Giselle how to function, whereas this movie is more about the little girl doing it. Even though the dad still plays a part, but different
it's
plot.
Different.
Wow, can you believe it? There's a different plot.
It's different. So, the cast is pretty small as far as notable people goes.
Yes.
We've got Lindsay Lohan as Casey Stewart, who didn't audition for this movie. She just got it because she was that bitch. Mm-hmm. And she got it in a 3-movie contract with Disney.
Okay.
So
what were they?
I don't know, but I just know there was a 3-movie contract. You know what's crazy about this? Is that this movie came out in 2000, which means it was probably filmed in 99, and Mean Girls came out in 04, which means it was probably filmed in 03. She looked that different 4 years apart.
She always gave me, I feel like this is a weird thing to say, but she always gave me brutally early puberty vibes.
Yeah. I think that's, although, I mean, she looks very baby in life size.
She looks like you in life size.
Yeah.
Like when you were little.
Yeah, people used to tell me I looked like Lindsay Lohan.
You had a similar vibe when you were both little.
Yeah.
Perhaps we'll do a side-by-side somewhere.
So yeah, good for her. Tyra Banks plays Eve, and as we kind of said before, America's Next Top Model didn't start till 2003, so she wasn't like
so much of a personality yet.
Yeah. But prior to Life Size, she was a model, as we all know. And I was looking at her IMDb and some of her credits. She was in a Michael Jackson music video, a Tina Turner music video, and several episodes of Fresh Prince and All That.
Nice.
Yeah, in small, like, cameo roles.
Yeah.
And then finally, the last notable one, I feel, is the guy who plays Lindsay Lohan's dad. And I don't even know how to say his first name, but it looks like Jer.
I'm guessing it's Jer.
It's probably Jer. Jer Burns plays Ben Stewart, and his credits mostly consist of TV roles, but most recently he was in Dead to Me, which I was like, who is he in does he play? It's some role like something Hastings. And I was like, I don't even know who that is. I don't remember.
I cannot get through the second season of Dead to Me for some reason.
That's a whole other topic, but that's really, I watch it in one day.
I am like halfway through the episode where they find rats. I'm like in the 3rd episode.
I don't even remember that. It went by so quick.
I just like something about there being 2 James Marstons. I
love it. It's so campy.
I was like, this is stupid.
Literally camp.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, anyway, so he's in Dead to Me, and he's been in Suits and Grey's Anatomy. Those are just some of the more notable TV shows, but he's been in a ton over the years.
Okay, this movie came out in March of 2000. What was happening in our particular cultural sector at the time? Well, Y2K had just happened and the entire world didn't implode and machines didn't totally stop functioning. And I feel like that had to have been exciting.
Yeah.
There were 51 million viewers for the first season finale of Survivor. The book, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, came out. The truly troubling series of kids' movies that came out this year, Chicken Run, which I think Audrey and I mean, that movie made a weirdly big impact on me. Perhaps we'll do an episode on Chicken Run at some point. The Emperor's New Groove, also amazing. We had that movie and watched it a million times. Our Lips Are Sealed, starring Mary-Kate and Ashley, and Phantom of the Megaplex. Is that a Disney Channel original movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to stick that one in for Hunter, my friend Hunter. That's like one of his favorite movies ever.
Really?
Yeah. And we watched it together recently, and it's so funny. Like, if you haven't seen it, because we were a little young for it, at that point, we weren't watching DComs in 2000 because I was 3.
Yeah. We didn't get that Disney Channel access till we were older.
No, but it's really good.
Yes. I'll have to watch it because, I mean, I can see that it's a spin-off of Phantom of the Opera vaguely.
Yeah.
And obviously
So
I'm
funny.
into that.
Yeah.
And then the biggest artists at the time were U2, NSYNC, Oasis, Bon Jovi, Kylie Minogue, Britney Spears, and REM, which is heavily dad music. Not
Yeah.
all of it, but like U2 and REM.
Also, Coldplay is another one.
That's pure Ray Leach for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So that in mind, and again, this was pre 9/11. This was pre everyone on a kid's show has to have a special talent.
Yeah.
It was a different time. Pre social media, pre cell phones.
A simple time.
Truly. Okay, Audrey, what are the things you remember about this movie from childhood?
So, obviously, I said it already, but the original song, shine bright, don't be shy, be a star. You know. Be a star.
Yeah, she does that weird riff at one point.
Yeah. And like the whole ending being basically a music video
Yes.
is amazing.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
The ending of this movie is super weird.
It
I'll
is,
talk about
and
it.
it really rushes to the end, as I recall. But
Yeah.
I remember the spell that Lindsay Lohan says when she's trying to bring her mother back to life, and it's Zamba Tarka Ishtu Neberim.
Audrey said that when we were watching Freaky Friday, and I was like, what are you referencing? Because I could not remember it. And then I was like, oh.
I really appreciated that Lindsay's character was a more accurate portrayal of a tomboy. She plays football
Oh, yeah.
with all the boys. And I just
Not some of the boys.
all of the boys. Every single one. But I mean, I can't think of any other movie where that is just very casually in the movie. It's not about her playing football. It's just that that's something that she does.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And it's like not even a thing.
Not a plot point.
I think that it might become a plot point, though. I think it might actually be a plot point. We're just forgetting.
I don't think so, but yeah, we'll see.
We'll find out. I think the running gag is that it's like, Casey's such a tomboy, and her doll that she doesn't even play with comes to life.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
She's like disgusted by the glam.
Yeah, she like can't handle it, which is truly upsetting.
It's just sad.
It is. So the things I remember about this movie, I remember Tyra Banks having a really good updo during
the office scene.
Oh, that, but also I think during the Eve's Great scene, the holiday
The party. Maybe. I don't
She also
remember.
has this red dress with like a little like poofy thing all around her, which is good.
She looks like holiday Barbie.
She really does. I also remember her creepy foot tattoo with the barcode.
Yeah. Very Toy Story.
Very Toy Story. And I also remember there's like a guest house and there's a pool and there's some cool lighting at some point.
Yep.
And I remember the ending is kind of traumatizing.
Yeah,
like it's
it is
very
traumatizing.
like not to make it about Phantom of the Opera, but it's very like all that was left is the mask of the Phantom. Like it feels very much like that. But then they're like, just kidding. Here's a production number.
They're like, it's fine because that's where she belongs. It's almost like Aquamarine-ish.
It is like Aquamarine,
It's
kind of.
it's okay because that's where she belongs and that's where she wants to be. Like she needs to go back to Sunnyvale.
Right.
You know?
Sunnyvale.
Sunnyvale.
I think it's Vale.
Why would it be Vale?
I don't know.
Sunnyvale. Well, we'll find out. But I think it's Sunnyvale.
We will find out. I don't really, I could name other things I remember, but I think that those are the most important ones.
Yeah.
So I am ready to uncover a treasure trove of weird memories that I did not know that I had.
Same.
So everyone whip up
Gather some Barbies and watch with
put them all around you. Everyone's just excited for the holiday party scene because everyone just wants this to be a musical.
Yeah. And truly, it should be a musical. And we're not even I don't even know if we're going to discuss the second one. I did watch Life Size 2.
Wait, it came out?
Yeah, it came out 2 years ago.
Wait, is Lindsay in it?
No.
Who's in it?
The girl from Secret Life of the American Teenager, the like mean one. Not the blonde girl though.
Oh, the Latina girl?
Yeah. It's like Francia. I think that's her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one who got like weirdly branded as like the slut in the show.
Uh-huh.
She was like Ricky's mistress.
Yeah, it was bizarre. And she's in Bring It On 2? Bring It On
She's in
2 or 3. She's the one with Solange. She's in that one.
Yeah. What a woman.
But yeah, it's Tyra and her, and it's really bad.
That sounds like a really weird combination.
0 out of 10 would not recommend.
That's saying something too.
But that we'll leave that up to your discretion.
Yeah, maybe whatever. Maybe we'll watch it at some point. Anyway, boot up your Disney Plus or your sketchy link of your choice, and
we'll be right back.
Yes.
Hey everyone, we're back. We have watched the film.
We watched it on the most low-res possible link. Like, it was on our TV, and it just was unnecessarily pixelated.
What we have learned is if the program was on the Wonderful World of Disney, it is not on Disney Plus because ABC Family, I guess, has like vault jurisdiction.
I guess, but it's all owned by
Disney.
people.
So, you know, who knows? But yeah, it's not on Disney Plus. So if you watched it, you figured that out on your own. But,
you probably watched a potato quality
you probably
link.
watched the same one that we did.
Not good. This was excruciating to get through.
I just am awakened to so many things in this that are not just, and they're not right. And
the messed up parts so heavily outweigh the good parts that it is kind of hard to not just go immediately to the how dated is it section, because that definitely has the most.
I have 2 things that I appreciated.
Okay, I had one.
Okay, so I appreciate the, young witch vibes of the beginning.
Yes.
Lindsay getting the witchcraft book and doing the spell and looking it up all on the old-fashioned internet.
Yes.
Like, I love that.
Yes, me too.
And we probably addressed this before, but there is some good fashion, but not enough.
It's not that good, though.
Yeah, it's not powerful enough to where I could,
get behind the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't save it. It doesn't even get close to saving it.
No, it doesn't even get close to saving it.
It's also like in this movie, they have the literal supermodel of the world at the time. So, of course, the clothes are going to seem better than they actually are.
Yeah, because she can just wear them well.
You wear it well. Not that we're referencing RuPaul, because we're not doing that.
We're not
fracking. Okay. It's going to date this recording so heavily. Okay, the one thing that I appreciated in this movie, I guess I could have 2. So one of them was the witch thing. I wanted to add that she has young lesbian vibes between the witchcraft and the football playing. We love that. And then I did appreciate how this movie like weirdly tried to antagonize technology in the first half. Like, like no one's buying Eve dolls because kids want stuff with microchips.
A microchip. And it's this little girl walking in front of the toy store and she's like, no, I don't want that. I want something with a microchip.
Yeah, it was weird. And then also way later on when Eve and Lindsay Lohan and her dad are at lunch or whatever, and Lindsay Lohan's like, oh, you know how to use computers? Do you use Apple or Windows? I was just like, that's just very 2000 to have that problem.
Yeah.
Like you would never ask someone that now. You'd be like, okay, you use a computer.
Right.
But I remember when that was like a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, where to even begin?
Parts that are worse now. I have some stuff that is definitely worse now that I'm older that doesn't exactly fall into the problematic / dated zone. Do you want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. The direction of a lot of these scenes I find to be so weird. Like there's so many scenes, especially after Eve saves Lindsay Lohan from getting hit by the bus, where it's like Eve, I'm gonna call her Casey.
Yeah.
Eve, Casey, and Ben, Casey's dad, are like doing activities. Like they're at the mall trying on clothes, going to lunch, like walking around. And like the dad is just so neutral. It's like, why is he doing any of this? Because he could very easily play it as like I'm interested in Eve sexually way, but he's like a cardboard cutout. It's just so weird.
He has, and they could have written it in very easily, but he has no motive that we know of to be so kind to Eve.
Right.
Yikes.
The amount of like
Yikes.
rape jokes, honestly.
Yeah. They said when Eve is doing her little dance number at the party, she like pulls in this random old man to like dance with her. And then the creepy coworker says, and he's like a judge of the 10th district or something. He says, his briefs will never be the same.
So unnecessary.
But honestly, we're not even going to comment on that.
Yeah, we
connect the dots.
First of all, it's a pun.
It's a pun, and it's something that...
And it's sexual harassment.
Yeah. It went straight over my head until now.
Yeah.
So yeah, creepy coworker, we're calling him Andy, goes over to Eve and is hitting on her and like being really forward with her and is like, do you want to go back to my place? Blah, blah, blah. And Eve slaps him because she saw a woman slap a man in a movie. And she's like, wasn't I supposed to do that? But she tells him that he just needs to be himself. He's so handsome and so funny.
But not enough to be with me.
Not enough to be with me. Yeah. And he's like, wow, that's the most honest anyone has ever been with me.
Is that really what he says?
Yeah. He's like, that is the nicest, kindest, and most honest thing anybody has
that
ever
checks out
said. That me being
everything
handsome
I think.
and funny, that checks out. So then directly after that, he heads over to poor Ellen, or is it Helen? It's Ellen or Helen. Who has been given a makeover.
Remove 2 bobby pins and suddenly have a full contour.
And a personality. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he like goes over to her and he's like, Ellen or Helen. He's like, you're looking great. Want to dance?
He's like, this isn't a pickup line, but you're looking great.
And the worst part is that you would think that Helen would be above this man.
No, Helen's ready.
No.
Well, because earlier in the movie, she's like, I can't even get one of the guys in the office to notice me. It's like, are you really talking about him?
You don't want them to look at you. These men suck.
Literally, there is not a single... There's only 2... Well, first of all, it feels like there are no characters in this movie.
There's no characters in this movie.
Because you don't know shit about literally anyone.
Yeah.
Like...
Really
nothing.
Anyone.
You kind of know things about Casey. I guess you know the most
about Casey.
I mean, you know a lot about Eve too, but like you still feel like you don't really know them.
As a kid, I definitely thought that Casey's dad was like just being kind for giving Eve a place to stay and everything. But as it plays out, it's just like, what are his intentions? And they're so unclear.
It's like unsettling.
And they almost kiss. Like they become even more unclear when they almost kiss after the Halloween party.
the holiday party.
Holiday party. And then Casey sees
Was
them.
it spooky enough to be a Halloween party?
Yes.
But it was not. There were some frights.
Yeah. And then, the line she says when she gets out of the car.
Oh, yeah. They just had to throw in this random fatphobic line when Tyra was like, did you see that big lady dancing?
What a great night.
It's like, you could have been like, did you see how much he had to drink or something?
Like it could have been anything else.
It has to be like, fat lady dancing.
It could have just been like,
yeah, it didn't even have to be anything at all.
So we hate that.
We hate that. Lindsay Lohan is cute in this movie.
Yeah, she's cute, and you know what? She does
bites her lip a lot.
She does depend heavily on the lip bite for emotion.
Yes.
It's something that some kids fall into.
Audrey says this as if she's like a kid's talent wrangler.
You know, I have witnessed a lot of child actors over the years.
You know what my favorite child acting scene is of all time?
What?
The scene in 8th grade where the guy has all the dipping sauces and lines them up in rainbow order.
No, and that is like the best child acting I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree.
And the best actual accurate portrayal of what it's like.
That whole scene is like the cutest thing of all time.
So wholesome and just well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to see like accurate teen
middle school representation,
it's 8th grade.
Yeah. That scene is so good.
I need to rewatch that.
Every time I hear Sail Away, I think of that movie.
Yeah. Same.
Sail away,
Sail away, sail away.
That song is great.
Do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, it feels short, but yeah, I guess.
I have like...
You have some things to say?
Yeah, to
Okay.
like wrap it up.
All right. I will say that the last bone to pick I have with this movie is that the end just goes careening into straight magical realism, like out of nowhere, in a lot of different ways, but primarily in the sense that Eve comes to life in their town and is supposed to be super far from home, but then she can somehow get to like the headquarters of her toy company where they make her and take all the photos by foot and quickly. So the headquarters just happen to be in their town.
Well, her home isn't real, so that's kind of a...
Well, right, but like she's a nationally distributed doll. I just found that to be annoying. And then, when she decides that she needs to turn back into a doll when she gets back to the like factory or whatever, watching Lindsay Lohan have to watch Tyra turn back into the doll is like so upsetting.
Yeah, you're basically watching Lindsay Lohan lose her second like mother figure.
Yeah.
Or at least close friend figure.
Just trauma, like big sister.
And watching Tyra turn into the doll, and like the reverse shot on Lindsay's face, it is so sad.
Yeah, it's very, very
They
sad.
didn't need her to play it that real, but that's what Lindsay brings to movies, is that and everything she's in, like she brings a level of realism to it. Like imagine Hilary Duff in that role.
It would have been like way more chill.
It would have been slightly upset. You know, she's fake crying. She's slightly upset, but she understands Eve needs to go back to Sunnyvale, and you know, this is how it is.
Lindsay Lohan is like not okay.
But Lindsay Lohan is like, I need to go back to the shrink level of like disturbed after this.
Yeah, I mean, I would be too.
Yeah. It's realistic, but it just doesn't always fit the tone of what everybody else is bringing.
Right, like she's literally getting like control dragged down. Like she's like the magic effects going on are just like trash, and Lindsay Lohan is giving you like full like black
Oscar
box
level.
theater, like crying, clinging to her dad. You're like, what is happening? This mismatch is egregious.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
But something I noticed to wrap this whole thing up is that what this movie attempts to do is kind of the same dynamic as Uptown Girls, which we already discussed. And Uptown Girls does a great job of making the dynamic of older woman and young girl finding what each other is missing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How do I word that better?
Finding what they need in the other.
Yeah. Uptown Girls is a well-done version of that. I mean, it's very, you know, cookie cutter, like everything kind of wraps up, you know? But Life Size is kind of trying to do that, but with the magical twist.
Yeah, and also like no sense of place.
No sense of anything.
Of decency. This movie also has Aquamarine parallels.
Yeah, it has Aquamarine parallels for sure.
And Enchanted. It's just like the Uptown Girls, like big woman, small woman thing meets the fish out of water comedy.
Yep.
Like that's all it is.
Yeah.
And it's like bad.
Yeah, it's bad. And just to top the whole thing off, in the music video segment at the end,
Like the 45-second music
all
video.
the characters that we've met practically come into the shot, and 2 of them are wearing their costumes from the holiday party, and then everybody else is wearing random clothes.
Yeah.
And like the continuity of that is just really disturbing, and I hate to see it. I really do.
I think the fact that this movie only has one child character says a lot about what's wrong with it.
Yeah. And there's other kids, but they're not characters.
They're like
just,
they're like
They're-
2 lines
Yeah.
tops, like one scene in the beginning, one scene in the end. Like, why do we have like all these adults that are all the worst?
worse.
They're all like what little kids think adults would
Yeah.
act like, but that isn't a good thing. Like, they shouldn't let kids think this is how adults act.
No. And I really would hate if anybody formed any sort of like expectations off of this.
I agree. It is so far from being even close to realistic, but not even in the way where it's like, this isn't realism, cancel it. Just like,
No.
it's just so half-assed.
It's not even fantastical in a fun way.
Yeah, no, it's just, no one gave a shit about this movie, clearly.
No. Except Steph, because she did write the second, like, a whole 20 years later.
Right. I kind of think that what's interesting about this movie, though, is like, first of all, people really remember the song in this movie.
Yes.
And
more than anything else.
And on top of that, people really remember and love this movie, I think, because the idea is really good and like the casting was theoretically really good.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think people remember
What actually is said.
Yeah. It's one of those movies that you watch when you're a kid that makes you feel like you're grown up because there's adult characters.
Yes.
But it is so inappropriate.
Yeah. I mean, half the stuff went over our heads. Like, that's not
I think most of
that's not
all
a
of it
sign
went
of
over
a
our
good
heads.
kids movie. Like, a good kids movie will have layered jokes where adults can understand it in a different way, but kids still understand it.
Right. Exactly.
You know? So that's that on that.
Yeah. And I have nothing deep to say about this movie.
No, I mean, I couldn't muster a deep take.
Me neither. It would just be totally fake. But thank you for being with us throughout this time.
A struggle.
We'll definitely watch something better next time, even though I do feel like the episodes that are bad are probably more entertaining.
Probably more entertaining.
I still feel like nothing will ever beat the emotions I felt after watching Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
That movie.
That movie, I think my favorite ones we watched at this point are Uptown Girls and Sisterhood.
Yeah.
Even though Uptown Girls didn't really live up to my expectations of how I remembered it, it was still good, especially compared to these. We've been really going through like a rough patch lately with these.
Well, since Brandy Cinderella, perhaps.
Yes, right. I think that really gave us some unrealistic expectations. Or it heightened our palate.
Yeah, we're too sophisticated for this now.
It's true. But if we missed any really cringeworthy lines or just dumb things in Life Size, please send us a DM on 2pinkpictures on Instagram and Twitter, or you can email us at 2pinkpictures@gmail.com. Or my work email, hleach@evergreenpodcast.com. But please let us know your thoughts. All thoughts are welcome. And we will be back soon.
Bye.
Bye.
You can find more from us at evergreenpodcast.com/sleepover-cinema and keep up with our latest creative projects at twopinkpictures.com. We're on Instagram and Twitter at twopinkpictures and would love to hear from you there.
And if you like the show, if it brings back evocative memories of childhood or tweendom or babysitting, share an episode of your choice with your friends. And maybe even leave us an iTunes review telling us what movie you'd like to see us cover next. Sleepover Cinema is a production of Evergreen Podcasts and is edited and produced by me, Hannah Ray Leach. Special thanks to mixing engineer Sean Rule Hoffman and executive producers Michael D'Aloia and David Moss. Our show music is by Josh Perlman Hall.
We'll chat again soon.
Bye.